So in the benchmark, oh, just had a freeze. Joe here, and it's been a while since I did a video because I haven't had anything to put up. But today, actually, I'm going to be changing that. As you can see, I'm in a vehicle and I'm on the road, and I'm on my way to go pick something up. So if all goes well, the next bit you're going to see is what I picked up, and after that we will talk about it and check it out. So I'll be back to you in a little bit. So, to paraphrase somebody, don't know their name, mission accomplished. Check that out in the box there, not the bag. But yeah, those would be GTX 780s. And I know what you're saying. Big deal, Joe. They're just 780s. There's a very important factor in all that, and that is they were free. As a matter of fact, Joe, here, make some room over there, right about here. Put up a picture of the original ad, and that is the ad that piqued my interest, because as you can see, it just says 2 graphics cards, and then in the text in the body of it, which is this one, it says just pick up. Okay, well, I sent them a text, as you can see from this picture, and I said, how much do you want for the cards? Thinking they'd want like 50, 60 bucks a piece. But he's like, no, just come pick them up. Do you need an SLI bridge? Needless to say, I picked them up because it was free. The only thing better than free is if he had paid me to take them, which doesn't happen as often as you would think. That's not all he gave me. He gave me tres SLI bridges. One flexible, one that looks like it comes out of a regular motherboard box, and another one which must have come from his new computer. He said he just upgraded his system, and it's a HB bridge. It's not like it's got a big body on it, you know, like the aluminum EVGAs and the NVIDIAs tend to have, but it is an HB bridge, and I have to do a video here explaining the difference in SLI bridges. Obviously, that only applies to NVIDIA boys. AMD guys with their Crossfires, you guys know you can do that just using software, but needless to say, I'm friggin' stoked. He was a decent guy. He obviously smoked. These things need to be cleaned, but I'm not going to do anything until I test them, make sure that they get signal. They're not TIs, but again, they're free 780s, and one is a superclock, and one is an Asus DirectCU 2. So yeah, when I get home, I'll give you a better look at them. Back at the domicile, and just so you know, that's why I'm not doing anything, because I really have nowhere to work, but I've got it on a board. That is a Q6600 that I'm going to be making a video on, mainly because it's not going to be like this for long. But yeah, so Asus 780 on there, and let's go ahead and power this thing on. We'll do it live together. What, you don't start your computer with a screwdriver, bro? We have a screen. So now let's see if the drivers load up. I'm gonna switch you around. Well, so far, graphics card numero uno is at least outputting a picture, so I need to download and update the drivers, and we'll be back because I had an AMD card in here and I removed the NVIDIA drivers. Well, card number 1 is in, and it reads it and it sees it and it works, and as you can see, NVIDIA GTX 780. I haven't messed with any of the power sliders, but I do have it running in Heaven Benchmark, and it seems to be at its normal clock. And okay, next thing to do is to swap that one out for the other one, and we will be right back. BRB, yo. Okay, now the 780 is on there, so let's go ahead and fire it up. Again, this is live. Computer boot. Yeah, that's your problem right there, Nami. Let's try that again. I was all like, why isn't it working? Well, duh. That's more like it there. Alright, since they're both 780s, I'm assuming it's going to work off the same driver, but we'll find out in a minute. And as you can see, this is the EVGA GTX 780, the secondary one.
although it still has to update everything because it doesn't have all the information, but at least it's identifying the card correctly. So I'm going to install the drivers and I'll be back with you once it's installed. So now that the driver is fully updated, as you can see, it gives you all the information, the correct size for the memory, as well as MSI Afterburner is identifying it, and it's running at about the same speed in heaven. However, you probably can't hear, it's got just the faintest bit of coil whine. I believe the SC is on a reference board. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. And that could mean that it might be running a little bit harder to maintain the superclock speeds, because it does throttle back a bit, but that's also because it's on a Q6600 that's not being used all the way either. So probably difficult to hear over the fan noise, but as you can see, I have them both installed in Red Devil, and when you have them in a good computer, they can actually run up to their limit. However, because these are two completely different branded cards, one's EVGA, one's Asus, they have different power deliveries, different cooling setups, so they're actually hitting different speeds. So I actually have to overclock the Asus card 125 on the core to get it to match the EVGA, which is only at 50. So that means the Asus is going to be the weakest link in this system. So in fact, here, let's see what happens if I bump up the EVGA, since it seems to have dropped a little bit. 1200 megahertz. Okay, so that's holding good. Let's do this one. Get that one up there, so 150. There you go. So they're both at 1200 megahertz. Now that doesn't mean that the Asus card is weaker. It just means that it doesn't boost as high out of the box as the EVGA superclock card does. So I'm going to keep playing around with those until I get to a stable overclock for both cards. Now obviously this one is running hotter than I would care for, especially in comparison to the Asus, but I have to have them in the system this way because of the extended cooler on the Asus card. It doesn't sit flush with the EVGA card, so I can't use that bridge with that card up top. So it's just going to have to deal with it until I can take these down and reapply thermal compound. But they're both boosting to 1200 with no issues, so I'm not going to push it anymore tonight, but I'm going to do some testing and we'll come back. It's running a little bit hot right now, so I'm not going to be pushing it any harder, but 1080p, 60 FPS, medium settings, and Forza, which doesn't support SLI, and it seems to be doing fine, so I'm happy. For free video cards that can run 1080p 60 frames per second. It's been a while, but hey, found something I can make a video on. And it didn't cost me nothing but some fuel. And time. Time and fuel. On top of that, and as promised, he gave me some SLI bridges, including an ROG SLI HB bridge, which is a high bandwidth bridge, which is really decent to have, and EVGA. This is just a standard SLI bridge, it's not LED or anything. And then the itty bitty standard Asus SLI bridge. So yeah, I now have the three major types of bridges, so maybe I'll do a video on it. So that could be the next one, but again, I'm really not doing anything until my place is done. So, but free video cards, and they both work, and they both seem to be fine. So yeah, 780s are still worth $100 or so, maybe even more depending on who you ask. And I just got two of them for free. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Don't forget to watch Craigslist, and as always, I'll talk to you later.